Dana came by, so we just started talking about this and a bunch of other stuff, so.
This is Plaid Central.
It's the Plaid twins.
Yeah. It kind of looks funny, with our plaid and our beige couch.
We're old. We're allowed to look funny.
Yeah, it's great.
This video has not been planned.
No, nothing's been planned. I came over for a visit, as I always do, and we thought we'd just turn on the camera because we've been talking for about an hour, and we just thought we'd turn on the camera.
There you
go. One of the things that oftentimes when I do come over is, some of the stuff that I'm working on or behind the scenes. I don't necessarily do a lot of form, or I do a bit of IG, and you guys have seen that, but oftentimes I'll just sit in the basement and build for quite some time, when time allows, and then I'll just come over and show Chris the latest stuff I've been working on, and he kind of oogles at that. So I brought a bunch of stuff over, and maybe I'll show you as we progress with this video.
I keep getting asked if we build custom trucks, and the answer is sometimes. I mean, here's one. This is the kind of thing that we actually do, right? This is a Defender 110 setup that's going out to a guy in America, and it's beautiful. But you know what? The reason that we're actually doing this full truck build is because we've already built this truck. We've already proofed it out. We know how to make it set up and work, and so there's a reason why we do these. We do ones that we already know we can do. So do we do full custom trucks? Not really, but we definitely do a lot of full truck builds.
Yeah, within our realm, right? All the stuff that we've done has been proven, tested, as you said, and I'm sure that's going to be a beautiful build that someone's going to get.
Yeah, and the body paint is coming from Tim Bloor at VS Custom, so that's always top shelf. We have a lot of Tim's stuff kicking around.
Yeah, he's an incredible builder and an incredible artist when it comes to some of the stuff that he does to bodies and Defenders. I guess that's going to be a nice Defender.
It is a 110.
110. Beautiful. Of course, and you've seen this on the channel before, but I've been really enjoying this truck and not really enjoying this truck. So what does that mean?
Epic fail is what it means.
So I went all the way to Florida because I built this for Florida. Sorry, Rob, I do love you. And I don't think I got any trail time.
You don't think?
No, I didn't actually. I did get some trail time, Rob. You may not know that, but I went out with some locals there, really nice guys, and got some trail time. So, but this didn't, and Chris is begging and pleading for me to get some trail time. So we're going to do that probably this week. It also went all the way across Canada.
I forgot about that.
So I carried it all the way across Canada, and it didn't get any trail time. I'm guilty. I do like them on the shelf, but I also know that the underpinnings, the C-Max chassis, everything, it's going to be reliable and an awesome performer. So I guess it's cured enough, and we've said that before. And Chris has bugged me enough that it's got to get on the trails. So we're planning hopefully to do some local videos in the next week or two. We've got some really nice spots that we've used before in the video, and I'm gonna send it down there, and we'll get some video of it doing some real trails. So look forward to that.
He just said he was gonna send it.
Send it. So,
that's what he said.
Yeah, absolutely. So so that's still fresh and
flying yellow truck.
And I'm still enjoying it, looking at it every so often in my shop. So let's get it on the trails and have fun. What's going to be your truck that's going to be on the trails this week? Anything in particular?
I don't know if I told you this, but when I was in Tennessee last week, me and Kevin Lutz, the WTF creator, we did a whole bunch of creek crawling with a couple of C-Max trucks. One of them was my Comanche, scale Comanche.
Yep.
I ran that thing up to the door handles in water.
Oh, nice. Nice.
For extended periods of time. It is the most fun truck I have.
Oh, really?
I have never laughed and giggled so much in my life.
Well, you were in good company too, right? So
I mean, we had a lot of fun, and I was amazed that the truck that's that long and could actually perform like that. And it was great. At one point, the you know how it's 3D printed box in it, right? So it's full of air pockets.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I had it going down the creek, and the back end started coming up like this. I was like, oh, it's deep enough now. Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
So for those who are new to the channel, or those who don't know where you were last week, where were you last week?
I went to Central East Side, Tennessee for the full-size Bronco Festival called Super Celebration, and it was
I'm yet to make it, but really want to
go. Here's a couple pictures right here on the channel.
Yeah.
You can kind of take a look at some of the stuff that we get to see, and one of the things that I absolutely love about going to full-size shows is it's like Inspiration 101, right? I mean, the truck patina that's supernatural, it flows differently on every truck, the way that the sun eats the paint and the way that the corrosion happens and everything, and so you get ideas for your tiny trucks. It is a lot of fun.
So if you're a Ford and a Bronco fan, that's the place to be. If you're
that's
looking
the
for
one.
Inspiration.
I mean, I'm sure there's Chevy festivals and stuff with like 5 guys that go.
Well, you know, and speaking of inspiration, of course, this year you headed out to Motorama. We've done that for a bunch of years, and we've mentioned it before, but there's a lot of inspiration that happens there too.
And here I'll throw in some Motorama footage right now too.
It's really an awesome spot, and then there's been some builds there that I've wanted to recreate, seeing the one-to-ones for sure.
It was cool to actually reconnect with a couple of guys that I met years ago from Syracuse, New York. We did a rig review with those guys. Remember that? They had those little tiny trucks.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see them again and see that they're still going to it in the hobby and running a lot of the same kind of trucks. And so it's really cool actually to just go back year after year and see some consistency there. And the guys that built up the track this year did an incredible job. It was amazing.
And of course we came back from traveling across Canada to our BC crawl and an event. That was amazing. And there was a lot of tiny truck inspiration. There's some really good builders at that end of Canada.
There are
some for sure.
Amazing builders out in the West Coast, and also great people, great hospitality, and we just had a super fun time with everybody out there.
That is a Darren's Bronco, that baby blue Robin's blue
there's
Bronco.
A picture.
Oh my God, you know, what a beautiful truck that was, eh?
It's funny, you start doing a little bit of camera work and you can get the trucks to look like they're on a train set, you know what I mean? Like it's just, when they're so well done, like his truck, it's so real.
You should put up, and it hopefully comes now, is the picture of the 2 Broncos with the, by the puddle or the lake or whatever. There's a reflection that they give off of and it was such a nice picture. So hopefully that'll make the channel. Yeah,
for sure. There's the picture, and it's amazing that you can meet these guys from all across the world and different walks of life and everything, and you know the quality of the build is just, it seems like everybody has it in them. It's just waiting to come out, you know?
Yeah. And I'd like to think that when we go to these and put on these adventure series, we give these people an opportunity to express themselves, to make those builds. I know Darren said that he was you know, at the last minute he was building to get it ready for this particular event, which we all do. I've been there and I do it, but it was nice to see, and it's nice to see the talent out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another thing that I was looking at my collection in my basement. I've been redoing my basement and rejigging it, and so you sort of put the trucks up on the wall, or your RC vehicles on the wall. One of the things I'd like to talk about is I didn't realize that I was really into 2-wheel buggies.
You just figured that out.
I look, and so I have not a lot of tiny trucks, but I have some select tiny trucks that I really enjoy, and you guys have seen them over the years on the channel. Of course, we have basement racing, so I have some M chassis, but I didn't realize I secretly enjoyed 2-wheel type Tamiya or Kyosho buggies, and I apparently have like 4 or 5 of them. And so I thought, I brought a bunch over because I've been working on those lately, and I thought I'd show Chris. And so now that we have the video up and running, I have them here. So,
well, let's get it.
So we'll pull them up. But I think this all started way back in Florida when I purchased this particular model.
It was your fault.
So I forget the gentleman that had a table, and he was selling this one, which is the Kyosho Beetle, and a lot of people will recognize this.
You might not recognize a Kyosho Beetle with a 5700 kV motor in it, though.
So I was like, hey, I should buy that, and I think it had maybe 1 or 2 runs on it. Like, it's in perfect shape. But the gentleman's like, yeah, it's got like a 4-pole 5700 kV motor and a Sidewinder brushless system in it. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And until I realized how great it was when I did purchase it and then put it on the ground and hit the throttle, and it went 1,000,000 miles an hour. For you and I, we do a lot of like brushed, slow, 55, 45, 35 turn, right?
Yeah,
Not a lot of that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't get into the brushless systems too much. I was amazed at how fast this thing would go. So I think it sparked Rob and Amanda and you and Kevin and Corey, perhaps, all those guys to get these vehicles, put kick-ass motors in them, and go nuts. But Chris, and I'll let him talk, he's got the one I've always wanted.
I kind of wanted to do something a little different than the Scorpion.
Pick it up.
And I got the Turbo Scorpion.
Oh, isn't that sexy?
It was a fun build. It took me a few days in Tennessee to actually get it put together. A few hours here, a few hours there. But I love the way it looks.
Oh, the light treatment up here.
I just love the way it looks. And
it's so nice.
They come with a driver figure, of course, which always is nice. And the Turbo Scorpion is just a tiny bit wider than the regular Scorpion, and it has a softer tire on it, and I feel like it handles really well. It's nice to drive.
So this is just you're gonna upgrade this to the kick-ass brushless system. Right?
I did buy a 4000 kV. I toned it down from what you got. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do a couple of less wheelies per foot than what you got. I think yours does a backflip. So.
I think it did 20 barrel rolls when I hit the cow manure there was some dried cow manure that I hit head on, and away it went. So
I had so much fun with this, and the tinytrucks.com guys gave this to me while I was down there to build. So thanks, guys. And I've had a lot of fun with it already, and I find that these are so well made for being a 1982 product release. This is a really nice kit, man.
So nice.
It's so cool to build it.
Thank you to Kyosho and Tamiya for these re-releases, though, right?
Yeah, I know.
I built a vintage Wild one, all stock and everything, and then 2 months later they came out with the re-releases.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to have these releases and jam on them, like give them full throttle and run into whatever, and know that the parts are going to be there, and you don't have to sort of search eBay endlessly.
That's big, if you can get parts.
For sure.
You brought your Wild one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So, and I was going to say, probably my favorite 2 realistic or scale-looking buggies out there is what you have, the Turbo Scorpion. I love the look of that because I think it looks the part. But one of my other favorites, and I just sort of finished this for an event that we have coming up, is I love the Wild one. The Tamiya Wild one is just, for me, the look is amazing. And so
that's a nice car.
Yeah, I've sort of had, of course, like all of ours, I've given this the personal touch, but it's still very reminiscent of the Wild one back then. But Knight Customs has a beautiful sort of inlay motor that they can do for you.
I'm super jealous about that.
Yeah, so I just finished the spark plug wires and
nice.
Rear light. But yeah, this one's been fun. We've got a G6 coming up, and I think part of the G6 they're going to have some vintage buggies on the beach.
Yes, vintage buggy day.
Vintage buggy day. So whether it's a re-release or a true vintage buggy, I think will both qualify. But as long as it looks the part, we're going to have fun on the beach at the G6 with these vehicles. So that's what this is prepped for. Of course, I've got some G6 logos here on this particular Wild one. But I'm really happy with this one. It turned out nice.
Lights too, eh?
Well, no, they're sort of faux lights.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything to light them up, but yeah, it's been a fun build, and I recommend for those wanting to get into the vintage or the re-release scenario, either the Turbo Scorpion or the Wild One are a nice addition for sure.
And they're not pricey kits either.
No, not at all.
A couple $100 you can get yourself into one of those and have a really good time. They're a fun build. I think that's the part I loved about it, is I just did the whole thing on the kitchen table over a few hours.
Yeah.
And it was fun to put that together.
I agree, and you need that from time to time. We all sort of get invested in our tiny trucks, and they'll take 3 months to 6 months to a year.
Exactly.
Right? And they occupy a lot of time, but sometimes you just want to walk away from that and do something different, and these are a great addition for that.
Yeah.
So, for sure. But speaking of my collection, I have this Kyosho Beetle. I have the Wild One. I also have I'm doing a frog, a Tamiya frog, and I think it's vintage with a bit of re-release kit in it. It's a bit of mix between the two, so I'm excited to get that one done. And then I still have in the box a fighting buggy, the 2014.
Those are cool.
Yeah, the big mono shock in the back with the oil bottle.
Right,
yeah. So apparently I have 4 or 5 two-wheel buggies that I didn't even realize was part of my collection.
And the Lossy too, eh?
And the Lossy, yeah, that's right. And the Sand Scorcher, my Rat Rod Sand Scorcher.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm a big fan of two-wheel buggies. I'm not sure what you guys are fans of out there, but that's sort of the behind the scenes at GCM, some of the other collections that we have. Yeah. And I'm really excited to rip on the beach this summer, whether it's at G6 or our local beach. I'm going to take advantage of it for sure this summer.
My phone has this slow-mo thing on it now, so I'm going to try to do some of these dirt flinging slow-mo videos with these. They look super cool.
Oh, they do. I mean, they bounce all over the place, and it's another realm because slow and steady with the trucks, right?
Yeah.
So you get some pretty cool vantage points there. But these things rip and throw sand up in the air, and getting it in slow mo is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I got 2 new things I can talk about.
Yeah, go for it.
I saw you eyeballing this here when you came in.
Yeah, this is always nice. Back to Tiny Trucks.
So this, of course, you guys will recognize as a Marlin crawler. The lid's not screwed on, so you can just tear it off, and then we'll show the inside.
Sure, go for it. Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
What are you doing to this? I can see some of the things you're doing to this.
Well, we're just about to release the scale drivetrain conversion for that, which uses our low-range transfer case transmission combo. So a bunch of new parts there. New servo mount and all that, but the rest, it's just like our SCX2 kit where you just take all your stock stuff, chuck the drivetrain, rebuild it with the new drivetrain, and the rest of the stock stuff just remains. So
it's amazing. Yeah,
we're just about to release that. I'm just waiting for all the production stuff to come off the machines, and then we made a new change to the motor plate. I didn't tell you about this earlier, but we did a Facebook video on this last week. What we've done here is we actually got rid of the slots in the motor plate. So this chopped up transmission was just our way of making sure we did it right. So there's no more slots for the motor to slide around in.
Oh.
So basically the kit always comes with a pinion gear. We have, I think it's a 13-tooth pinion gear on these that fits onto the first drive gear. And you know what? It turned out that after we started asking around, did anybody change the pinion gear on this? Almost nobody changes the pinion gear on this setup. So we thought it's the hardest thing to set up in the entire kit. So because it's kind of in an invisible place, you can't really see it to do it. So you have to kind of do it by feel and stuff and sound. And we thought, let's just get rid of the slots.
Smart.
Put 2 holes in it.
Yeah.
It's a drop and go. If you still want the slotted motor plate for your own use, then we'll have them in the stores available separately. But all the kits, pretty much from May on, are going to have this new 2-hole only single position motor plate, and that should it'll cut the setup time 10 to 1.
You know, and I'm just going to reiterate, but yeah, getting the play between the gear and the spur gear and the pinion gear was a bit of not a challenge, but you know, just you needed some thought behind it, and so just to eliminate that, is a great idea for sure. So it's a slam dunk now. I mean, once it's in, it's away you go, right?
There's 2 holes. Like, you put screws in the hole and that's it.
And I can see up close here you got the play just right. So
it looks good, dude.
Yeah, it looks good. Great idea. Perfect. Perfect.
So we've decided to change them all over to that, and that's kind of between that and the new kit for the TF2 and our radius arms for Defender and Toyota. That's coming out now, and so we're just kind of getting these out to the dealership stores. And besides that, I mean, it's been lots of travel for us.
Yeah, it's been a busy first of the year, and we've got some traveling to do. What are some of our next up-and-coming events that we'll be going to?
Well, this weekend I'm going down to Beat the Creek in Marysville, so that'll be a first for us to have somebody on the ground down there, and excited about that. See some old friends, make new ones, and it should be lots of fun tiny trucking down with those guys. I don't really know what to drive down there because I don't know what the terrain is, but if I have to beat something, it'll have to be a bigger truck. And if the drive is actually in a creek, might need a waterproof truck. Never know. I don't really know.
Well, we'll find out.
I guess.
Take some pictures, take some videos.
Yeah, that looks like a fun time. And it's in between. I'm doing other travel at the same time. So I think we're just about to run out of video card here. That's blinking at me.
That's up.
It's in between travel for me, so I'm not going to do a big GCM setup or anything. I'm just going to go and play trucks.
Nice. Good for you.
I'm excited.
And then we've got Berkeley and Ohio coming up in the next few weeks after that. So always busy, always moving, always grooving.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Take care.
Cheers.